If there's one question that I get every single time I post a video, it's about my vocal production. So today I'm going to share 5 tips that will help you take your vocal production to the next level. Let's jump into it. What's up guys, this is Valentino with Bigger Creations, and if you're new to this channel, I make videos all about how I produce and release my own music. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to hit the subscribe button and follow me on Spotify because I release a song every single week. All right, let's jump into these vocal production tips. Tip number 1 is automation. So oftentimes you'll see that you have reverb, delay, distortion, high pass filters, all sorts of different effects on your vocals. Something that can really add more dimension to your vocal production is to introduce those elements at certain points in the song rather than just having them throughout the entire song. And the song that I released today on Spotify called You Know Now, link in the description, is the perfect example of this. I used automation in certain parts of the vocal to really help it stand out and continue to carry the production and keep it interesting. So let me show you what I did.
Distance myself from you, yeah. And you wanna know why I left. Deep down inside of your heart, I guess you know now.
So as you listen to this vocal, we've got reverb, we've got delay going on. Sometimes we want to spice it up in the middle of the song, especially for specific phrases. And what I did here is actually a little bit later in the song, you'll see that I automated the reverb and the delay that I normally had on this track and just kind of automated it to go a little bit louder and more of that going through the bus than the rest of the vocal. So let me show you what that sounds like.
Tango, and I'm gonna let you go. It's just a shame now, so many memories.
So for the phrase, I'm gonna let you go, you'll notice that the reverb is a lot bigger and washier, and I wanted it specifically just for that part of the phrase, especially where all the instruments kind of drop off at that point and the vocal is the only thing happening. It kind of helps fill in some of that space and give some sense of dynamics to your vocal. In that same phrase, I actually automated the panning so that it just felt like it was on top of the bigger reverb. We felt it kind of swaying from side to side. So this is what that sounds like.
And I'm gonna let you go. It's just a shame now, so many memories.
I also automated the delay in certain parts. You'll see that here.
Got tired of being the only one that was listening, yeah.
So that little detail, just automating those certain phrases throughout the song, really helps take your production to the next level and is also just a little bit more engaging to the listener. On top of that, it can just really help emphasize the emotional key points of your song that you want to. I'm going to be honest with you, I have seen some client projects where they have automated the heck out of everything. Don't get crazy because it's kind of the equivalent of bolding an entire email. If the whole email is bolded, then nothing really stands out. It's just all kind of the same. So using this in tasteful moments can really help take your production to the next level and emphasize the right parts of your song. The second vocal production tip I want to talk about today is how to manage your stacked vocals.
Didn't need you, baby, I'm just being honest. But now I want you more than anything, I promise you, baby. Want your company, want you holding me.
This song is also on Spotify. If you want to stream it, it's called Honest. This is what I did with these vocal stacks. Everybody knows about stacking vocals. The more vocals you stack, the more is happening with your vocal, and it can really help it feel full. But sometimes people keep everything down the middle when it comes to panning. Personally, I like to have my harmonies and stacked vocals in even numbers, so in pairs, because what that helps me do is figure out how to spread it out in the stereo spectrum. So let me show you the separate vocal stacks that I've got here, and then I'll explain kind of what I did with the panning.
Need you, baby, I'm just being honest. But now I want you more than anything, I promise. Need you, baby, I'm just being honest. But now I want you more than anything, I promise. Need you, baby, I'm just being honest. But now I want you more than anything, I promise. Need you, baby, I'm just being honest. But now I want you more than anything, I promise. Need you, baby.
Okay, so as you listen to these harmonies, the first one is kind of like a higher harmony. These two are kind of more in the middle of the chord. So they're not super high and they're not super low. They're kind of just in the middle. And then this one is the low harmony. So what I've done here is I've actually paired the high harmony and the low harmony to be on opposite sides of the stereo spectrum. So I panned the high harmony all the way to the right, the low harmony all the way to the left. And then because these two are similar where they are in the middle of that chord, I've actually spread those out to be separated as well. So I've got one all the way to the left and one all the way to the right. And what that does is it really just widens the stacks. If these were all panned directly in the middle, they'd probably hit louder, but they wouldn't feel as big in the stereo spectrum. This is a really, really small thing that you can do that makes a really, really big difference by just figuring out how to best pan some of those vocal stacks so that it feels even bigger than what it actually is. Okay, tip number 3. Now, this tip is not revolutionary, but it's definitely something you need to know about and keep in your arsenal when it comes to vocal production. And it's recording multiple takes of the same vocal and stacking those in different parts of different phrases and parts of the song. Let me show you what I mean.
I knew you were crazy, but I didn't know how much. I thought I could take it, but it seems I lost my touch. Had me running round, baby. I was running blind like a fool. Had me running round, baby. I should never trust in you. When I met you, yeah, I knew that you were crazy, but I didn't know that it would be contagious.
This song is called I Knew You Were Crazy and is also available for streaming on Spotify. So check out the link in the description if you want to hear the full song. Let me break down what I did here with the vocal dubs. You know when you're like cruising in the car and you've got like one of your best friends in the back seat and they only know the last like couple words of every phrase of every song? That's basically what you're doing here. Now, what I personally like to do is if I'm not sure what parts of the vocal I want to emphasize, I record a whole other vocal take that I'm happy with 2 more times. So essentially you have 3 solid vocal takes of the same main melody. And that way you can kind of pick and choose when you want to bring in those dubs. That's kind of a safety net, especially if you're having a session with an artist and you're not sure where you're going to want to have those dubs. Then you're going to want to make sure you actually just record another vocal take that you can take those dubs out and put them in wherever you want. But if you're 100% sure of where you want to emphasize things, then you can just actually do the best friend in the backseat type approach where all you record are the ends of those phrases or the pieces or words that you want to emphasize. In this case, I actually recorded this whole first part in full dub because I wasn't sure what parts I was going to want to emphasize by the end of the production. So I actually recorded all this 3 times and then ended up chopping up the parts that I actually wanted to keep.
I knew you were crazy, but I didn't know how much. I thought I could take it, but it seems I lost my touch. Had me running.
And one key thing here with the dubs is to remember to pan one all the way to the right or one all the way to the left. If some people get a little bit weird about doing that because they have some sort of thing that like, what if people only have one headphone? You know what? If they have one headphone, like they're probably getting a crappy listening experience anyway. But quit stressing about that. Pan one all the way to the right, pan one all the way to the left. You can even experiment with that. You can actually make it a little bit less wide and maybe just put a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. I personally like going all the way to the left or the right because it just gives you that width and strength and body that you're looking for when you're adding these dubs in. For the part that I already knew which phrases I wanted to emphasize and which words, that's exactly all that I recorded. So let me show you these dubs.
I hope you're happy and you get just what you wanted. I'm feeling free now, really, if I'm being honest. I hope you're happy and you get just what you wanted. I'm feeling free now, really, if I'm being honest. Have me running round, baby.
Adding dubs to your vocal production just really takes it up a notch and adds a little bit of that extra little sprinkle of production to your vocals. So it doesn't just sound that you just have this one take vocal and that's all your vocals are. Okay, tip number 4 is adding different octaves and transposing octaves of your vocals to add a little bit more of that width and strength and body to your vocals. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
You know that you have been my angel, the one that God sent just for me. You know that I will never let go, no, 'cause you
This song is called Angel and is also available for streaming on all streaming platforms. Link in the description. If you're not getting the hint, follow me on Spotify because these kinds of songs drop every single week. So what you'll hear in this song is that the vocals sound very wide, even though all we've got is really just kind of one main melody with no real harmonies. Let me show you how I accomplished that. So what I did is I actually took the main vocal, transposed it up 12 semitones, which is a whole octave. So we get kind of like this chipmunk type vocal. And then I did the same thing on a different track, but instead of going up plus 12 semitones, I went down 12 semitones, so a whole octave below, and it gives you a little bit more of this like deeper vocal.
You know that you have been my angel, the one that God sent just for me.
This one in particular, I actually liked keeping it a little bit robotic. Sometimes if you want more of a deeper sound, what I like doing is actually just adding Waves vocal bender. Where are you? Vocal bender. And then you can actually mess with the formant to make it sound a little deeper.
You know that you have been my angel, the one that God sent just for me.
So you can really get that deeper sound if that's what you're looking for. For this one, I just wanted a little bit of that sizzle sound that comes from putting it down the 12 semitones without messing with the tone. And this is what it came out sounding like.
You know that you have been my angel, the one that God sent just for me. You know that I will never let go, no, 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 'cause you mean everything to me.
And you can even mess with the panning of these tracks if you really want to. For this one, I already had my dubs set up all the way left and all the way right, so it just felt right to kind of keep these in the middle. But yeah, experiment with that because it can really add a little bit more of that width, especially for those parts in the song where it's maybe just one vocal happening and not a lot of instrumentation. It can really help within that chunk of the song and give a little bit more dimension. Okay, tip number 5 is probably one of the most obvious tips, but I see people mess this up so much that I have to include it in this list. And what this tip is making sure you get the perfect vocal take. And what I mean by that is, no, your vocal take doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but it needs to be perfect for what you're trying to accomplish. I recently saw a video about Billie Eilish talking about the song that she wrote for the Barbie movie, What Was I Made For? And she talks about how she had to record the song so many times just to kind of figure out the right vocal take to take on it. And so she ended up doing this kind of more airy, breathy type vocal take when instead of like fully belting it out. The takeaway here is make sure the vocal take is perfect for what you're trying to accomplish at that part of the song. There are going to be times where maybe you don't want to belt the vocal for the chorus and you want to kind of go subtle with it. But then there will be other parts where you definitely want to make sure that you're belting it and that you're doing it with your full chest voice. So make sure you get the right vocal take for the right type of vibe that you're going for on your song, and it will definitely take your production to the next level. So there you have it, guys. Those are 5 vocal tips that I use on every single song that I've released and every single song that I work on. If you have a cool thing that you do to your vocal production to take it to the next level, let me know in the comments and share it with everybody else so we can all get some great music out there. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos, and follow me on Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok for more content. Thank you for watching. Keep making beats.